So if you know any artists, you know one thing for sure. They've been bitching about how bad table sales are at cons since the dawn of time. And I've been going to cons since 2010, and I've known artists well before then. They always bitch about how their sales are down from the previous show or the previous year. I mean, if that's true, in the 90s, Jesus Christ, they were making like $1 million a year just at the show. I mean, if sales go down 20% every year, then I really wish that I was an artist in the 90s. But we both know that's not true. People just like to bitch. I mean, I like to bitch. I'm bitching right now. But the difference is that while I would hear rumblings every now and then, and how I would hear people complain every once in a while, now it's becoming an epidemic. Now I'm really starting to hear I'm going to stop doing shows. And instead of just people yelling it into the ether, they're saying, I have 3 more shows. This show, this show, this show. After that, I am not doing shows for at least a year. Like, they have a plan. When you have a plan, you're much more likely to implement it. So why are artists sucking at shows? Well, here's the thing. There's a fundamental shift in the way business works today. All business, not just con business. So let's step back for a second and talk about this fundamental shift. It comes down to 2 factors. The first is there's a glut of product on the market. Unlike 10 years ago, where there was a great product and a bunch of middling products and a couple of shite products, now there's a ton of awesome products. And that's the same for watches. That's the same for books. And that's the same for prints. If you're at a con, there is just a glut of content and an amazing amount of ways to get it. It's not just going to a con. You could find it online. You could find it on Etsy. You can find it on Amazon. You could go to one of the other million shows. So unlike 10 years ago, there was very few shows. Now there's infinity shows. It feels like every week there's 10 shows. Every week there's a show that abuts another show. So there's just a lot of glut on the market. There's a lot of prints, a lot of ways for people to find these prints. And the second part goes back to what I was saying just a second ago, or part of what I was saying a second ago. It's all really fucking good. It's all really good content. There's so much good content out there. Again, 10 years ago, you could hang a shingle. If you were a great artist, people would find you because everything else was shite. Now you go to a show, it's all great. It's all worth buying. And again, that's not just to say this is an art problem. It's epidemic in hotels, in restaurants, everywhere. There's just so much great stuff that it's impossible for the best to rise to the top. Or a little bit more accurately, there's so much best stuff. There's so much stuff that is the best that people need a different way to find content. And that way is by providing an experience. Studies show that starting this year, 99% of people's buying decisions are based on experience alone. Of course it is, because there's so much great product. All you have to go on is the experience. There's so many things shouting to you. All you have is the experience. And that's true in every other business, and it's true in art as well. And it's something that I always talk about. Having great content just puts you in the game. Congratulations, now you can go sell it. Previously, if you had something great, it did mean sales. But now that's not true. There's so much competition and it's all great. However, artists don't seem to want to accept this fact. They still have their heads down. They don't smile. They don't look at people. When they do engage, it's always very grumpily. There's no smiling. There's no engagement. There's no experience. So of course someone's going to pass by your table. Of course they're going to buy my book because I'm engaging with them more than yours. So that's great. That's the bitching part of it. Thank you for letting me. It got me out of my system. But as you know, this is not about bitching. This program is about finding practical solutions to problems that artists and creators face. And so, how do we fix it? How do we take this broken model that artists use now at cons? And I don't just mean artists. I mean artists, creators, writers, anyone who sells at a con, honestly, in the creative space. And how do we take that old broken model and move it into the new paradigm? Well, luckily, I've got a few ways. Okay, number 1, if you have to draw at your table, make it a spectacle. So we're going to start easy because I know the number 1 thing that people are going to say is, but Russell, I have to draw at my table because I have commissions. To which I would say, unequivocally, if you have commissions, you should be taking them before the show to give to people who find you at the show, and you should be taking commissions at the show to be done after the show is over. I've never heard of someone say, if you can't do my commission by the end of the show, go fuck yourself. Ever. Maybe it happens one time out of 100, but that person is probably somebody you don't want to work with anyway, honestly. But if you want to draw at a show, there is a way to do it and increase fan engagement. And that is by making it a spectacle. Instead of just drawing throughout the course of the show, say, I'm going to draw between 1 and 3. Then all morning, you're asking people, hey, what do you think I should draw? What should I draw? You want me to draw this? You want me to draw this? And then by 1 o'clock, you have people built up to what they want to see. So you can draw from 1 to 3. Engage with people while you're drawing. Ask them, hey, what color do you think the background should be? What do you think I should paint down here? Do you think this should be the Jared Leto Joker or the old school Jack Nicholson one? And as you're engaging with fans, they're helping you make this product better because you're crowdsourcing it. Now they're engaged. Let me ask you a question. At the end of that live draw, how many of those people that have helped you make this thing are going to want to buy it? I'm going to answer you a shit ton. Because they all now have an experience. When they look at that print that you can send them after the show or bring a machine and do it at the show. When they see that print, they're going to go, oh my God, I remember that artist. We did this. It was so cool. And you're going to be more likely to make a sale because you're engaging with the person and giving them an experience. All right, number 2, it's not enough to just say hello. You have to engage with people by using open-ended questions. You have to ask a lot of them. Saying hello, even for me, garners 0 sales. You have to ask them something. For me, it's, you want to see a cool comic? Actually, this past weekend, I said, would you like to own a piece of my soul? But again, these are just questions to start the conversation, and then I lead them through a series of other questions. You don't have to ask them to buy. In fact, you shouldn't up front. You can say things like, what's your favorite part of the convention? Or, do you have a room that you're looking to fill today? Or, are you buying for somebody? If you ask open-ended questions, you're interested in them, they are more likely to buy from you because your recommendation will be thoughtful. You will be giving them something that they've already said that they wanted. And that is the key to sales. Give them something they want and they will buy it. All right, number 3, this is another trick. Ask people what you should make for your next print. So here's the thing. A lot of people will come by and say, hey, do you have any Harley Quinns? Maybe you do. Maybe you did one. Maybe you haven't done another one. But you don't want to just send them away. What you want to say is, hey, I'm looking for my next print. I have this little raffle contest going on where, everyone puts their name, address, and what they want is their next commission in this jar or on this form, however you want to do it. And then I'm going to pick the winner. I'm going to see which one has the most tallies, and whichever one has the most tallies, one of them is going to get a free print or a free digital print or a free wallpaper or something. Now you're engaging them in the process. Now you get their email, you tell them that they won, you tell them what the print's going to be, you tell them when you're going to do the commission as a live stream on Periscope or Twitch or wherever you're going to do it. Now you've gotten someone's email. You've told them what you're going to do the commission for. You've told them when to watch the commission live. And at the end of that commission, you've told them where to buy that print. Yes, that is not necessarily a print that you're getting at the show. Yes, it's not money you're making at the show, but that person is someone you've met at a show who will eventually become a customer because you're engaging them in the process. Plus, you have their email address so you can market to them later. Number 4, frame some prints and give suggestions on where your customer should hang it. Look, people buy based on emotions, and they're there to try and fill a hole in their room or in their life. But they want to see the final product. They have a very hard time visualizing. We as artists don't think about this, but people have a very hard time visualizing what something would look like on a wall. So show them what it would look like on a wall. That's why Home Depot has turlets in an actual bathroom. That's why art supply stores and galleries have things hung on a wall so people can see what it would look like if it was hung. Super Emo Friends does a great job of this. They have some of their stuff in little frames. You can see what it would look like if you bought it. And then give them a suggestion. Hey, this would look great in this room. Engage them in the conversation. Hey, your living room, what's the color scheme? So you can show them what would look good there. Hey, do you prefer Marvel or DC? You're asking them questions. You're showing them how things will look. So you don't have to sell them the print that is framed, but at least they can see the print that was framed and see what it will look like framed. They can imagine it on their wall. And if someone can imagine something on their wall and it can fill a need that they have right then and there, they are more likely to buy it. All right, number 6, target your work to the right buyer. Most businesses are scattershot. They just want any customer. And that's the same with artists. They're happy when anybody buys their book. They're trying to target everybody in the world. But study after study shows that the more niche you can be, the more successful your business will. If you make something for everybody, everybody will walk past. But if you're targeting it to one person or one type of person, then that person will stop by. And because you have a voice, because you're targeting somebody, other people outside of that demographic are going to stop by too. So you need to know, who is your ideal buyer? Are looking to hang things in dorm rooms, in living rooms, in art studios? Is it for their child's room? Is your main clientele men, women, boys, teens? Is it mostly gifts that you're trying to give away? These are all essential questions to find out who your ideal buyer is. Because if you have your ideal buyer, you can get inside the mind of your ideal buyer and find out what kinds of things and what kinds of questions you can ask so that they buy your product. If you're just targeting everybody, it's very hard to know who you're looking for or what you're looking for. You have no idea. But if you can say, hey, are you looking for a gift today? Because this print is the perfect gift for someone in college. Or are you going to a baby shower in the near future? Because this gift is perfect for somebody who has a new baby. If you can make those claims and back it up with confidence, more people will buy your book. More people will buy your art print. More people will buy anything you have to sell. So target your work to the right buyer. Number 7, ask for the sale. You lose 100% of the sales you don't ask for. We lose out on sales because we're so worried about a no that we forego a yes. And if somebody is on the fence, then you have a chance to convince them to get over. There's no bad reason to ask for a sale. There's nothing bad's going to happen. The worst someone's going to say is no. If they say no, they're going to say no anyway. If they say yes, they're going to say yes anyway. It's those people in the middle who are like, I don't know, how much is it? Or I don't know, I don't really have a place for it. Those people you can turn over if you ask for the sale. If you don't, you won't make that sale. This is one of the most crucial parts and the easiest thing to change. You don't have to do anything to your table. All you have to do is ask them if they want to buy the print or what you have to offer. At least it will start a conversation, and at least it will give you data. Very hard to get data from people that just walk away. A lot easier to get data when someone says no, and then you ask, out of curiosity, why not? And then if a bunch of people say the same thing, you can change and adapt. It's much easier to adapt with data than without it. And finally, number 8, don't think of it as a loss if they don't buy. Just because someone doesn't buy doesn't mean that they're never going to buy. There's a funnel in sales. First, someone has to know you, then they have to like you, then they have to trust you, then and only then will they buy from you. And it's great when people buy at the first show they see you at, but it's equally important to get people as far down that funnel as possible, as quickly as possible. And shows do that because showing up in person means somebody can trust you and maybe buy from you a lot quicker and a lot easier than if they just see you online. And just by being at a show, you're meeting and connecting with the right kind of buyer, which are the kinds of people that are willing to fork out money to get into a show to look at cool art. So just because they don't buy now doesn't mean they won't buy ever. I have tons of people that have seen me at 1, 2, 3 shows. People that have said, oh yeah, I passed by this 2 times last month. And then they buy that 3rd or 4th or 5th time. It's about having that presence and being engaging all the time that shows people that they can trust you and that they should buy from you or at least take you seriously. The problem is that with artists and with most people, they don't ever sign up for a mailing list. They don't get anyone on social media. They have no way to connect with people. And the reason is they think mailing lists are icky. Well, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care. I don't care if they're icky. They're effective and they're a good way to communicate with your audience. And the frank truth of it is, if your mailing list is icky, it's because your mailing list sucks. My mailing list is not icky. It does not suck. It provides tons of value to my audience. We have podcasts on there. We have announcements for where we're going to be. We have cool things that we're coming up. We have cool Kickstarters that they should check out. We have a whole thing catered to that audience, to our audience that we're trying to nurture and give them awesome stuff. And yeah, the sales are a part of it. Like at the end of the day, like We need to make sales to keep going. I say it on this show sometimes. If I don't make sales, we can't keep having a show. But that's not the intention behind the mailing list. The intention behind the mailing list is you like what we're doing. Let me send you information about what we're doing. I'll send you a weekly email with new podcast episodes, any new shows we're going to be at, whatever our new release is going to be, whether we're doing a Kickstarter or a Kindle Scout or something. Let us get you information so you can be a part of this cool stuff. But it doesn't even have to be that much. You don't have a podcast, you don't have a blog, you don't have anything like that. Tim Ferriss does a great one called 5 Bullet Fridays, which is just 5 cool things that he found that week online. It could be articles, it could be products. It's just 5 little pieces of content. And people do this all the time. And you can do it too. You can just find 5 cool artists, 5 cool prints, 5 cool markers, whatever it is. You can vary it week to week. You don't even have to talk about your work if you don't want to, but it keeps you in the consciousness. I'll give you a great example from today. Today, my toilet flooded. There's a little, valve behind your toilet and it's just spraying. And luckily I found it in time. It was fine. But I was looking for the name of the plumber that I called last time. I liked him. He did some work under my house. Couldn't find it. I ended up having to call a new plumber. And it's not because I didn't want that old plumber. It's because I had no way. I had no idea where I put his card. If he had sent me a monthly email or a Christmas card or something, I could have found it in my email. He would have been at the top of my mind. There are artists and writers that I find all the time that I'm like, oh man, I forgot you existed. I did want to work with you. I have this thing, that I'd like to collaborate with you on. Or I have people saying, oh man, I had this book cover you would have been perfect for. You just weren't at the top of my mind, so I went with somebody else. But I want their content. I like their stuff. I'd happily get emails from them and see what they were up to. I have a friend who works in animation who sends a quarterly newsletter with what project she's working on, releases, premieres of, the show that she's on right now. It's great because I can say, oh, I didn't know you were on that, and check it out. She has a lot of animation projects that she's working on independently. Sometimes it's not on my Facebook feed. So I click it, check it out, and I'm entertained. So just because that it's a mailing list, it doesn't mean that it's bad. It's only bad if people don't want your content. But if you're targeting the right buyer, like we talked about before, the people on your mailing list will want your content. And maybe you have to do several different mailing lists. You can do that on MailChimp and Sendinblue that I use, or a bunch of others. But at least you have the ability to communicate with them. Because these are people, we hope, if they're buying from you, they like what they saw. They weren't just doing it out of pity. And if they like what they saw, they're likely to buy again, or they're likely to want to engage in a conversation. They're likely to want to be part of your experience. And that's really what it's about. That's what all of this comes down to, is cons are about experience. Owning a business is about experience. And bringing people into your experience. The sales are a byproduct and a necessary byproduct of that, but they are not the be-all end-all. In fact, if the sale is the be-all end-all, your sales are going to go down over time because people will see that you're just using them to sell things. But if you're giving them value, if you care about them, if you want them engaged in the conversation or excited about your experience, then your sales should go up because more people will be attracted to you and the right people will be attracted to you. The kinds of people who won't just buy one bullshit print a year, but will pay you to do commissions, will pay money to get big portraits that you make on their wall. Kinds of people that really, really want what you have to offer. And not because they're easy marks, but because you've given them an experience and they like the experience. And life is all about experience. Study after study show that on people's deathbeds, they don't regret not buying a car. They regret the experiences and the chances they didn't take. Happiness studies continually conducted find that experiences matter much more than material goods. But if you can tie the material good to an experience, all the better. And frankly, most artists are giving people a shitty experience. They don't look happy to see them. They don't engage. They don't entertain. They don't even give a shit what the audience wants. They just care what they want, which is the audience's money. And is it any wonder in the New World Order and the new paradigm of how sales works and how businesses operate, that people don't want to buy those books? People don't want to buy from those artists? Not to me. I don't want to buy from them either. But here's the deal. Like, we can bitch and we can mope, we can fret about it, we can deny it, but it's the truth. I don't give a shit whether you like it or not. All I care about is what's effective. And what's effective is engaging with your audience, giving them something that is entertaining, that will give them an experience. Because they are at the con to have cool experiences. And they want to meet cool artists. That's the crazy fucking part. They want to meet cool artists. A lot of them. That's why they go to the show. A lot of them, a huge amount of them, are there to have an experience, meet cool artists. If they're walking by your table in Artist Alley, it's a pretty good fucking chance that they're there to find cool art that they like. And you have cool art that they like. And it's just about making that experience good for them so that they want to buy your art over everyone else's. So again, you can go kicking and screaming into the night and say, you're never going to do shows. Or you can do something about it. You can get over the hurdle and understand that we live in a new world. And the only way that people are going to rebound and you're going to rebound and start selling more is to embrace the paradigm shift. And that is that it's not just about art. It's about the experience behind the art. And it's not just about our business. It's about every business. It's about catering an experience to people so that they want to be engaged with your brand. And with that, wannabes and creators, I will see you next time.